Hi, this is Felix Pastorius, and I love J. Ross TV.
What's up, y'all? This your boy J. Ross hanging out in St. Louis with my cat Felix Pastorius, Bass-ment extraordinaire in St. Louis, hitting with the Yellowjackets, y'all. Now, you know, we got to go here with Felix, y'all, so I ain't going to even wait around. Hey, Felix, now, you had to grow up in a musical household, and is that where you first got your influx of musicality in your spirit?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone grows up with music in their house, but we definitely had instruments in our house too that were available. The big thing for me was, my father passed away when I was 5, so I didn't spend any time really with my father.
Yeah.
Very little. So my introduction to music was mostly through my mother.
Oh,
well,
yeah?
actually all through my mother.
Nice.
So yeah, she wanted. She wanted music as a part of our childhood.
Yeah.
So we took violin lessons and we took piano lessons, and over the years, she had also acquired just instruments, garage sales, wherever, thrift stores, flea markets, just to have instruments in the house so we could play them if we wanted to.
Right.
And we had a bass in the house, and I gravitated towards that. Actually, both my brother and I were taking piano and guitar lessons at the same time when we were 7. But neither of us really enjoyed playing those instruments. A little bit, but we also had a drum set and a bass. And my brother Julius always played drums, and I always played bass.
Yeah. Hey, but like growing up now with the bass being in the house, you started off on violin. When you started to get to the age where you heard about your father and the extraordinary things he did, did it give you like a impetus to like really go with bass, or it was already in you?
I didn't even really know the difference between my father being famous or my father just being my father.
Right.
It was the same person to me. I didn't see any difference. I didn't even really know what fame was. I enjoyed playing drums too. I picked up a saxophone one week. It was just a bunch of different instruments. I enjoyed playing bass more though.
Yeah.
That was more fun for me.
Now, growing up, was it like any kind of competition between you and your brother, musically? Friendly competition. I mean.
No, not really. There was never competition within music. Maybe sports, just boys being boys growing up.
Oh yeah.
Wrestling over things. I was always bigger though for whatever reason. It just happened to be that way. We're twins, but I was the taller one of the two. So, but we still, there's not fighting, but some healthy, organized troublemaking.
Now, what sports were you good at growing up?
Well, again, we were introduced to sports through our mother, so we weren't very good at sports. We enjoyed our sports growing up was being outside throwing fruit at each other in Florida. But we got introduced to sports through our mother, just taking us to Little League or basketball camp or.
Oh yeah.
So we played different sports growing up. I didn't really get into basketball until I was maybe 16, 17. But I had already been out of homeschooling at that point. My brother and I were both homeschooled, which allowed me to play music at a younger age, because I was already gigging when I was 15 in South Beach with the percussionist Bobby Thomas Jr.,
Yeah.
who was in Weather Report with my father. And so when I was 15, I was already doing that. And I didn't play really a whole lot of organized sports. So basketball was a lot of fun once I got a hold of it, but it was all street ball. So I still enjoy doing that a lot.
Oh yeah. So that when you started playing bass, was it a struggle for you to learn? Can you give like the young cats who want to play bass and might be want to fall off right now because it's so hard or they don't know the notes or the theory and all that? Is it any kind of encouragement you can give them that you might have went through that helped you along?
Well, it's not just for young cats; it's for all ages. I don't think it's ever too late to do anything. You can be retired and want to start playing bass now, or anything really. Excuse me. Ultimately, the easiest answer is repetition. The more you do anything, it's a natural progression for you to get better at it if you're doing it the right way. It's not practice makes perfect. It's perfect practice makes perfect.
I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, Felix.
So perfect practice. Okay, so practice makes perfect is a saying.
Right.
I mean, loosely meaning repetition of something. You practice something over and over again, it makes perfect. Not necessarily true. If you what's an example? If you shoot free throws underhanded and you make it every time, or that's not necessarily wrong because there was a few guys in the NBA who did that.
Right.
But old school, not anymore. But basically, if you do something over and over again the wrong way, but you still get it right, not necessarily you doing it the right way, and not necessarily is it the most efficient way to do things. You might be able to do it in certain situations, but for me, you need to practice perfect. You need to know from the ground up how everything works, and through repetition of the right way of doing things, you can hopefully achieve a so-called perfect, not whatever perfect is.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, but it's a lot of people gonna see the video and hear you say that, and they're gonna be like, well, they're not in a position to really know if something is the perfect practice, perfect.
Right. Well, well, true. But nowadays it's a little bit easier with internet and computers and even your smartphones. You don't even need a computer. I don't have a computer. I just have a smartphone,
Right.
when I'm on the road. You can look up almost anything, find out the right way to do anything.
Well, hold on, Felix. How many times have you looked up something and you said that's not to you anyway? You not out loud, but that's not the right way to do it.
Well, that's through. Well, again, that is you being able to, as an artist or whatever you're trying to accomplish, figuring out the difference between good and bad, or quality, your own personal version of what the quality of what you're looking for.
Right.
So ultimately, you're going to have an open mind with learning, but with the accepting that not everyone is perfect, and even teachers are not necessarily perfect, because they only took one route to the same goal that we're all looking for.
Right.
And there's various routes to get to the same place. Ultimately, you want to also be able to have your own flavor, your own personality show through in whatever you're trying to accomplish, be it music. So it's really important also to literally take verbatim what any teacher tells you, to an extent. I mean, there's things though. I mean, when it comes down to theory, theory isn't very ambiguous, and there aren't a whole lot of routes you can go as far as just basic solid theory, and that's a huge part. I mean, if you're interested in music at all and you want to accomplish it at a certain level, it really isn't very difficult. It's not a mystery. There's a basic foundation of this music that could help you learn a lot faster if you work on that.
Right.
And it's time consuming, and that's maybe one thing that, if you're older and you're starting to pick up an instrument, it might be discouraging because it is time consuming. Or if you're younger and kids, all you want to do is you want to get somewhere as fast as possible,
right.
So you don't even care, and you skip over things without even really internalizing things. But the tedious stuff is things that make you who you are, I believe. You gotta put the work in. I mean, I get compliments all the time, and it's usually followed up by, not always, but a lot of times it's followed up by, oh, it's in the genes, and it's passed on through your father, and yeah, I mean, his blood is in my body. It's part of who I am.
Right.
So is his father. So is his father's father. So is my mother's family. My playing capabilities, though, are not based solely on the fluid that's running through my veins. I'm very lucky to be born to a great set of parents. I didn't choose my parents. No one chooses their parents. I happened to be born into this world, and my father was Jaco Pastorius.
Was the cat.
Right. So maybe there are some benefits, but to me, I put in a lot of work. I continue to put in a lot of work to try and become the bass player that I envision, or what I consider, my ultimate goal, which is not really, there's no ultimate goal. There isn't really a platform that I'm going to hit. There's various steps along the way, though, that I constantly try to hit. So it's not so much in the blood, I think. Maybe a little bit.
Let me ask you this though, Felix. So growing up, or not even growing up, just playing bass in the concept that you gave about your abilities, did you find it that you had to try to live up to people's expectations of who you are because of your dad? Did you ever try to, be like him, play like him, emulate him, or you always wanted to be your own have your own individuality?
Well, it's hard to be a bass player and not learn my father's music or learn the history of the instrument that you play.
But I'm talking about people's expectations of you, getting to him in a sense through you.
Oh well, that's a twofold question.
Oh yeah.
So, are you saying their expectations of my playing? See, because people are going to expect me to play maybe like my father, maybe more than other people.
Right.
But the truth of the matter is that no matter who you are, no matter who your father is, if you're a bass player and you're attempting to be an individual and maybe a profound bass player, you're going to be compared to the other greats.
Right.
So regardless of he was my father or not, if I'm a bass player, I'm going to be compared to him,
right,
or Stanley Clarke, or Victor Wooten. So I mean, ultimately, that comparison is there regardless. Maybe a little bit more for me. Now, as far as them reaching my father or getting to experience my father through me, that's a different thing. That is, that's not difficult. I understand what is happening there, but I never felt that it's my responsibility to continue my father's legacy, because ultimately my father's legacy is what it is and will never be changed through anyone's actions, mine or any of my family members or any of his friends or anyone else's in the world. His legacy will always continue to be what it is because of the music that he wrote and recorded, and it'll continue through his records and the tracks he played on. So that's his legacy. And there's nothing I can do to change that. I know that people maybe look for the opportunity because they maybe missed seeing my father.
Yeah.
And maybe they look for that opportunity to see him through me. But it's an unfair situation, not for me necessarily. That's an honor, and it's I can see that, but it's not. I'm not my father. You're not gonna look at Michael Jordan's son and want to see Michael Jordan moves and plays, because he won't be able to do it. He's not going to do that.
But it's an expectation, though.
Well, it's an expectation, but it's
unfair
and not unfair. It's understandable.
Yeah.
It's the seed of a great man.
Yeah.
It's the child. It's the next coming, but it's not the same person. You can't expect that kid to jump from the free throw line and dunk a ball. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
I hear you.
So it's not unfair to the kid. It's unfair to the person who's expecting it. You're setting yourself up for something. That kid.
Now that was profound, brother. That was profound. You setting yourself up for something, for failure.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're the one that's expecting something.
Right.
I'm not expecting anything. I'm just trying to get through the tune.
Right. Hey, y'all, once again, we in St. Louis hanging out with Felix Pastorius, y'all, the bass man extraordinary. Hey, Felix, we're going to let you roll, man, because I know you got to bounce in a minute, man, but I wanted to know folks kind of get an idea about your love life, man. Because every time we on Facebook, all we see is hearts and kisses on your page.
Really?
Yeah,
Is
man.
it
That obvious. Oh yeah. So how is it being in love or whatever you are, and then being on the road away from her?
It takes a strong relationship
Oh yeah.
to be able to have a to be in love with someone and to be separated, and you know, it's. But to tell you the truth, I think it's one of the better ways to have respect and trust, and ultimately the love for one another to grow is through, you know, hard situations. Being away from each other can be difficult, but we got phones. We can talk all the time. We can text all the time.
Man, it ain't like being booed up on the couch in front of the TV though. Or...
No, that's true. That is true, and believe me, I miss that. But at the same time, this is my life. This is what I've chosen to do with it. And she's an artist as well. She's a dancer and does various other things other than dance. So she's quite busy as well. So even when I am home, she's gone all day.
Oh yeah.
So we're used to it. We're getting used to it. At this point right now, our life is working towards facilitating each other's dreams and goals, and being there for one another. And at some point, if we get to that point where we don't need to do the runaround as much as we have been doing in the past few years, we'll sit on the couch for weeks. So
yeah.
At this point right now, though, it's good. You know, it's a healthy relationship, and we love each other very much.
Cool. So what's up next for you, Big Phil? What you got up? Like your band you got going down in Brooklyn and...
Yeah, I got a couple different groups in New York that I've been working with, and doing some writing with them, and doing stuff with Jeff Coffin. You just saw us this past weekend. At this point right now, the closest thing that I can comment on as far as what I got going on is basically just going with the Jackets to Seattle in California.
Yeah.
Then doing another 10 or 11 days with Jeff Coffin, and then going out with the Jackets again in New York for 11 days. And then I'm finally home and off for basically the rest of the year, November and December. I'm just looking forward to basketball season to start, and relaxing at home for the holidays, and maybe go see my family down in Florida for the New Year's. So. All
right, y'all. That's Felix Pastorius in St. Louis. J. Ross TV, 10 million strong, y'all. We gonna let them go. We gonna let them go. We gone. Peace.
Thanks, J. Ross.